Hi, I'm Sean Clark. Today I'm standing in front of Patrick Bateman's office building from the film American Psycho. Welcome to Horror's Hallowed Grounds.
1, 2, 3, 4! I don't care what you say about your own time. It's not my problem. Treating like you took it doesn't mean a fucking thing to me. Take your reasons and talk all night. Alright. Never cared what you said, kept dumb and blind. Money and your attitude of gossip and your gratitude. And yeah, you're not my problem. I've got my problem. Go away, go away.
Okay, right here is a brand new building. Well, it's not super new, but it's new since American Psycho was filmed. Host, Indian restaurant called Host, used to reside at this location. And that was the interior of the opening scene of American Psycho. Was shot inside a building that's no longer here. But it used to be on this corner, and I have it in very good authority that it was here. It's long gone, but we got it because we're completists.
Little something fit first. Give it a fit.
Outside of the terminal warehouse, which, as you can see, looks nothing like it did in the film. And there is a reason for that. There's a lot of misconception that this scene was shot at the terminal warehouse in New York City. However, it was inspired by the terminal warehouse in New York City. This scene was actually shot in Toronto, Canada. This is the real place right here where it was shot. And to tell us a little more about it is my buddy, Scott on Tape.
Thanks for having me, Sean. So, right here, we're standing outside of where Joy Nightclub used to be in the 90s. And this is where they filmed one of the exteriors and possibly the interior scene for American Psycho, one of the club scenes. Now, it was Joy Nightclub, then it became Cubicle for a few months, and then went back to be called just Joy, and that shuttered around 99 roughly. So timeline adds up. It was an empty club when they used it, but now it's a 16-story building, 20-story building, and it was demolished in 2009, the original building, and this was built in its place.
Right here we're going to look at some establishing shots in New York City. These are just ones you see in a little montage building up to them actually getting the film rolling. We see them driving around town as they're heading to Espace, where they did not have a reservation, but not to worry. They did have a table, and it was a good one. And relief washed over him in an awesome wave. So right now I'm standing in front of an old hydro station in Toronto. This was the location of Espace. Fancy restaurant right here, hydro station. Believe it or not. Inside this building is where they set up the fake restaurant. Ain't no chance I'm getting in there. Got all kinds of warning signs, electrical fences. That's no bueno for this kid. It definitely was in here. I have confirmation, but we'll go check it out. Here we are. Take a look at that. Wish I could see inside, but you know, it's like a government type building probably, so getting in there is not going to be a thing. As much as I'd love to see. Wish I could match if I could find the single brick on the outside of this building that had the Espace sign on it. But I don't think that's going to happen. But you can see it definitely matches the brickwork. And it's such a large building, it could have been anywhere in here. Actually, these windows here match the ones behind them. Holy crap. I think these are them. Ah, you can see a little bit in there. Huh. Very cool. So it would be either these two windows here or these two windows here, because there's two sets of windows right behind them. Oh, you can see a pillar there. See if I see that pillar in the scene. Looks like there's pillars in there. Man, it'd be cool to see the inside, but I do not think that's going to happen. So I just talked to one of the workers who verified it definitely is in there. He even said that spiral staircase is in there as well. Of course, it's off limits because it's a hydro building, which is like a government thing. Anyway, it's just cool to confirm that he's like, yeah, that's it, man. I showed him the scene. He was like, no way, American Psycho shot here. So pretty cool. This is a location I'd kind of given up on. Verified that this was the spot. So mystery solved on this location. And now it's time to head to the next. So right here is where the fake ATM machine was placed, and Patrick Bateman is getting out money, and he notices the girl walking by. He then follows her this way, passing the Arcadia sign. Camera starts to pull out. So they reach this corner here and reveals them standing right here. And there's a tighter shot on them in this area.
Bleachy? Are you trying to say bleachy? Oh my God.
So here is the cleaners from American Psycho. We're going to go in and take a look and see if it's changed. I don't think it has.
It's in Santa Fe. These are very expensive sheets and I really need them.
Oh, you even have the poster. That is so cool.
No, I didn't know it's a poster.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. That's cool. You got the poster there.
Yeah.
Very popular movie.
Yeah.
Because if you look here
Yeah.
on the screen, that speaker type thing, still here. Air duct, I should say.
Air duct. Oh, there it is right there. Yeah. It's hard to see because of the plexiglass. Yeah.
And then the box right behind Patrick's head used to be right there. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah. But they're shooting from behind him this way. Yeah. He's standing here. Looks like there was a little dividing wall that went there.
Yeah.
They could pull at one point.
The back room.
Yeah. And you can definitely see the building across the street through the door when
She comes in.
Yeah.
It's right out.
The pole is still there.
still
Yeah,
here.
the pole is still there. Right there. She's standing right here talking to Patrick.
It's right here, and then he turns. Listen, I cannot understand you. Patrick, how about next Saturday?
Next Saturday?
Yeah.
Can't. I got a matinee at Les Mis. I really gotta go. Christ, I'll call you.
Dinner.
I can't.
I'm thinking Dorsia.
Dorsey is nice.
Well, he doesn't actually take her to Dorsia. He takes her to Barcadia. But it really isn't Barcadia. This used to be called Monsoon, and then changed its name to Michael's, not the art supply store. I'll tell you more about it in a second. When I first came to this location, it was called Monsoon, and it was out of business. Then I came back, and it was called Michael's, and I did have dinner here. It definitely is the place, but unfortunately now today it's closed. Hopefully it will become something else. I don't know, but this is Barcadia.
Does This is Dorothea?
Yes, dear. Courtney, you're gonna have the peanut butter soup with smoked duck and mashed squash. New York Matinee called it a playful but mysterious little dish. You'll love it.
Here are a few more photos I took the time that I had dinner there when it was called Michael's. You can see the structure is still the same. Obviously, the color and paneling have changed. And here's where you see Patrick Bateman walk past Federal Hall. This is another iconic building here in New York City. Once again, trying to establish this is New York City and not Toronto. Bless you. A lot more festive here today than it was the evening that Patrick walked by. Just walking distance from that location is the alley that Patrick heads into, where he finds the homeless man. Now, the crazy thing is, on the day I was there at this very same alley, there was a homeless guy asleep just across from where the guy was sitting in the movie. See, that's the spot he was sitting right there. And right over Patrick's shoulder there, see, there's a gentleman sleeping on a mattress in the alley. What are the odds? Looks like a pretty quality mattress too, so he's living the good life. This is the one scene that always bothered me because of the dog. I don't like seeing animals hurt in films, even if it's fake. Anyway, the alley pretty much looks the same. You see those two stop signs are still visible. Obviously can't get that angle because that's shot from up high. The only real difference is all this scaffolding that's all the way down the alley. Obviously they're doing some sort of work. The massage parlor and tanning salon were both a set built on a sound stage. The Christmas party was a private residence in the Cabbagetown neighborhood in central Toronto. Exact location unknown. This next location has changed quite a bit. This is where Patrick Bateman meets Paul Allen at a restaurant called Texarkana, which today is called the Ballroom Bowl, and that's what you're seeing right here. Now, I visited there in the early 2000s, back when it was called Montana. I have a few pictures here from the way it looked back then, and it looked more similar to how it does in the film. Now it's been completely gutted and turned into this barcade, bowling alley kind of thing, which looks nothing like it did in American Psycho. Now we head to the building that serves as the exterior of Paul Allen's apartment. As you can see, right up there is the window in which we believe is his apartment. That window right there. It's the only one with the light on, and they keep showing it in a couple different clips, so we figure that must be it. This is the exterior of Patrick Bateman's apartment. However, the interior of his apartment was built on a soundstage. Sadly, that beautiful white room does not exist. But they are both in New York City and not Toronto, like most of the locations in this film. And where did you get that overnight bag? Oh, that is to die for. So here's one of the locations I was most excited about seeing in person, and that is where Patrick Bateman picks up Christy, not only once but twice, at this same corner in the meatpacking district in New York City. Right over here is where money took over her better judgment. So here's where Christy is standing. She said she really shouldn't. And then the next time she says she had to go to the hospital. But yet, she still gets in. What was she thinking? But she almost uses her better judgment at one point and decides to walk away. Now, as you can see here, the poles appear to be the same. They're just missing that concrete base around the bottom. But they are all in the same spot and the same shape. Now, one thing that's really interesting is check out this old photograph of this area around the time the film was made. You'll see that sign for the Royal Veal Corp. Well, that sign appears in the film right over her shoulder. It's a little different, but it's the same company. And check out that address right there. 833. Boom. There it is. Here they pass the St. Regis Hotel in New York City and Harry Winston's on 5th Avenue. Now we go to the Consort Bar at the King Edward Hotel. So this is it. This is the bar from American Psycho. How cool is that?
King Edward Hotel. The Beatles stayed here.
The Beatles stayed here.
Not Ringo, though. They sent him to the Days Inn.
So obviously in the film, Patrick follows Lewis upstairs to the bathroom. Now there is a bathroom up there, but it's not the one that they have the scene in. That's a different bathroom. But there is a bathroom up there. But one interesting thing is when Patrick's leaving and he turns around and sees Lewis right up there, right in that spot. But if you look, the stairs end there and go in that direction. It's like a landing. And it's impossible that he would have been up there. So he must have been on some sort of like a lift or, you know, something like that to get that shot. Why they just didn't shoot it right there?
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
I mean, they could, because you can stand right there, but you can't stand over there. I think I'm going to take the kids, you the viewers are the kids, I think I'm going to take the kids upstairs and show them where the other bathroom is, which isn't the one in the movie, but that's where they go. But we'll show you the one in the movie, don't worry. They'll get to see the real one. I'm going to show it for the kids.
And the adults.
So as you can see, if Lewis stood here, this is where it would have been, because this is the spot. Look, he's way up here. He can't be right there. He's got to be over there. Look. Come see. You'll see what I mean. So it would have been impossible for him to stand there. So he had to have been on some sort of lift. But you can stand here and look over, like this. You can look over. Look down at Scott down there. But there is a bathroom here. So, like most people, when they come to visit this place, they think, oh, this must be the bathroom. But it's not. Tiny ass bathroom.
Because I can tell you, in 25 years, this bar has not changed one bit.
Well, that painting's different.
Well, they changed the
It was
painting.
different in the movie. They might have changed
Everything's
that
different in this bar from 25 years ago. Is that what you want me to say? Same customers.
That was our waitress last time. She was really nice.
Yes, she was.
Because this is another location we did, back in May?
May.
And now it's the end of August. And I came back. We didn't have to redo this one, but the sound didn't work.
Right.
I got some footage. You'll see some footage here from when we were here before. So we sat down, enjoyed a few drinks, and reminisced.
That's a very fine Chardonnay you're not drinking. Lime?
No, not really. I'm okay.
You sure? I can always get you a lime.
And now we head inside the actual restroom. I give Scott full credit for finding this one. He actually recognized that we were watching the clip and he goes, wait, I think I know that bathroom. And I couldn't believe it, he did. It blew my mind. Obviously it matches up perfectly. Wish it still had that awesome wallpaper, but it doesn't. All the fixtures on the ceiling match, the lights match. This is the place.
Patrick! What is it? Where are you going?
I've got to return some videotapes.
And now we head to the Phoenix Nightclub. This was the nightclub in the film. As you can see, it looks pretty much the same, just a lot of red drapes hanging around and probably a lot better lighting. But you can see those stairs over there are still there on the side of the stage. Kind of hard to see behind that little wall. That's where the stairs are. Stage is pretty much the same where it was. The balconies are all the same. And you can see this railing hasn't changed at all. Now the spot that Patrick and the others sit down is the far corner right here. This would have been the area they were sitting, enjoying their evening. Patrick right there, talking to the girl who's sitting in the corner right there. There was just something nice about him. Up there, the girls dancing, and the stage once again, and we're rocking out. Unfortunately, it was so loud in this dance club that we couldn't do any audio in here at all because it was just pumping the whole time. But let's take a look now at the outside of the club, which is a completely different location. So here we are in front of this building that didn't used to be here.
No.
What was here, Scott?
Well, we are in the club district of Toronto. We just left Phoenix Concert Theatre.
Which was the interior.
Then they come up these stairs, three doorways, right?
Yeah,
And we were watching the scene, and you said, that doesn't look like the entrance to the Phoenix. And
definitely
I said, that looks like System Soundbar. And I'm sure you're going to put in a little
they're
picture
looking
right
at
now.
they're looking at the photo right now.
Right now.
They're seeing it.
So I recognize it because this is the club district of Toronto. It's not as busy as it used to be because the clubs are more spread out. But Richmond, John here is really the club district of Toronto. It's not like what it used to be. This whole street was clubs, up and down, this way and that way. Man, I was a bit of a club. I'm not gonna lie. I like to go to clubs. I like to dance. This was System Soundbar was known for deep house. This is out off the top. Everybody was known for deep house, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. They never really veered, had like a hip hop night or anything like that. All house music all night long, baby.
But right here, those probably where this garage is where they walked up.
Would have made sense.
Yeah.
And it was very claustrophobic inside, so none of it would. The movie doesn't look like it was shot inside. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Well, that wasn't shot inside. Well, you thought maybe it was
the first club from the first.
It might be the rave place from the beginning, but
it was very dark and dingy in there, and very claustrophobic.
This one, we at least know the interior and exterior thanks to his keen eye, which has come in handy more than once.
More than once, shockingly.
Shockingly.
Yeah, but no, that is the giveaway when I saw the stairs going down. We spent a lot of time crawling the clubs.
Let's move on. Let's move on to the next one.
Let's do it.
We're out of here.
In 1989, Bob Schneiderman opened the Senator Steakhouse next door to the Senator Restaurant, and a year later added the jazz club upstairs, the Topo. The Senator Steakhouse was replaced by the Savoy Bistro in March of 2005, and the building was abandoned a year later. When I came in 2010, and the Savoy was still sitting there empty. Then they opened the Jazz Bistro, and it's been going strong ever since.
If you look, there's the end cut here, right? And they would have been sitting right about here. Obviously, he said it used to be a steakhouse back in the day, so it makes sense. And you can see back here, there was a walkway. You can see over Christian Bale's shoulder. Look at the windows. Got 2 over there, 4 over here. It makes sense. Now, mind you, it was shot low, so you'd be able to see the building across the street. There's a UPS blocking it now, but you'd be able to see that over William Dafoe's shoulder.
This location is a little tricky because they altered this hallway. That door straight ahead is the entrance to Paul Allen's apartment. In front of the existing doors, they built a fake wall and built out a door frame in front of that. The 2 doors to the right are hidden by the one open exit door. Currently, both exit doors are open, as you can see here. But as you'll see when Patrick's chasing Christy, the door to the right is closed. However, they did build a fake wall to the right, which you will see much clearer when Patrick returns to the scene of the crime. This time, both exit doors are open. They open in different directions. Now you can see how that wall to the right has been built out to cover these 2 doors. You'll see the fake wall sticking out, right there. And it's to the left you can see the entrance to the exit, which wasn't visible in the previous scenes. They covered these doors because they didn't want Christy to have closer apartment doors she could bang on. They labeled this door Mechanical Room 2. This is the corner she runs around, and they placed a fake door where the elevator was. This hallway has been altered a bit, but you can still recognize its unique shape. Then she runs down the famous stairwell, my favorite location from the film. Okay, so the location I wanted to find the most we found. And this is where Patrick Bateman would have been hanging over with the chainsaw. Right? No, it would have been right here. It would have been there. It would have been shot so you can't see this wall. But the way, looking at, yeah, probably right where you're at. And you can see that up there above him. It's changed a little bit. You can still see some of the pipes, but this is definitely it. But they shot him from the top doing that, like he's doing. But they actually shot him looking down from the 5th floor, which is a lot, as you can see, a lot further down there. And I hate heights, so I don't want to hang over too much. But I want to go down to where he would have been. Finding this exact spot's not easy, but this is the spot right here. So he would have been hanging over this, looking down right here.
5 floors down.
Yeah, 5 floors down. And you can see down there the handle, and that's where Chrissy is laying down there at the bottom. How rad is this? This is fucking rad. It looks so much smaller. I mean, when I watched this in the movie, this thing looks way bigger. I thought it was gonna be huge, but here it is right here, look. This is awesome. This is a find, man. Now it's funny, you would have never thought in a million years this is where she was laying, but it is. Right here. Let's take a closer look. She's been laying right there. Right there. I'm a nerd. So right here is the former location of Shark City. This is where Patrick breaks up with Evelyn. Unfortunately, the building has completely been torn down, and this is a new structure, a big one. But it used to be right here on this corner. Based on the geography of the original building, they would come in over here, and they would have more than likely been sitting back in this area here is where he would have broken up with her.
I have to return some videotapes.
So it's right here that Patrick Bateman walks across the street, and you see the Twin Towers in the background. Sadly, those are no longer here. It's an eerie reminder every time I watch the film, you know. It was shot in 2000, so just got it under the gun. This is where Patrick Bateman walks down the stairs. You can see the ceiling has changed a bit. Those lights are not there. The railing is no longer gold, but you can still see this matches up perfectly. And he walks over to right here where the ATM would have been. I believe this used to be just a bank, and now it's been completely changed, and doors are on this side now. This is roughly the angle we see Patrick from when he's trying to feed the cat to the ATM machine. The elderly woman walks down from the stairs right here and is appalled by what she sees. Patrick then turns and shoots her. You can see that red awning is almost just like the one in the movie. It's still red, but it's a different place now. He shoots the old woman right here, and she falls on the ground. Then Patrick sees the police car pull up. You can see the street sign. If you look closely, it says Trinity Place.
Patrick then casually walks away like this, just going by, and then kind of cheats a cut a little early to show that he's going to take off running. But it's a little further to the street, and he'd have to go down a set of stairs. Patrick comes running down the street here, kicking all the cars that are parked along the side. If you look at those pillars in the background, they still have the same cracks in them. He gets to this last one over here, and he kicks a car and runs across the street and heads towards that alley.
Now when Patrick runs around this corner, it transports him from New York City to Toronto.
Right here is where the cops pull up and skid to a stop right in front of this pole here. Patrick stops here as if to say, "What's the problem, officers?" and then starts firing away at them. Patrick then runs over here and crouches down and starts firing back. He then steps back out into the middle of the street, firing at them until the cop car explodes right here. And watches those flames go high in the air. At the time of filming, this was an empty lot. Now looks like a parking structure. And then right in front of this building here, this brick one, there was a blue building that was there when I first visited this location back in 2010. Patrick checks his hair and starts heading in this direction.
We now head to the Pearson Pierce building, or what Patrick believes to be the Pearson Pierce building. These are two actual identical buildings right next to each other in Toronto. Now you'll see he enters from the center of the building here, but it actually cuts to him entering the far right of the building. There. He walks over and he goes to the front desk and realizes, wait a second, I'm in the wrong building. That was right here. He then shoots the guy behind the desk and takes off running. And between the elevators here and heading towards that rotating door. Heads out the door, sees the janitor, comes back in, shoots him, and then heads back out, running across the courtyard and heading to the correct building. These buildings are actually right next to each other, just like in the film, and they are almost identical. He goes in this rotating door here, into the proper building, and heads to the same desk, but in the opposite building. Realizing he is now in the correct building, he goes and signs in quite dramatically right at the desk here. Signs in, says hello, with a big grin, and heads to the elevator. Goes in the first elevator door here, and then up against the wall in a panic. There's an interesting story in regards to this location that involves famous Toronto serial killer Paul Bernardo. They had originally rented out an entire floor of an office building to shoot all of the office scenes in. However, the day they went to sign the paperwork, an article had come out in the Toronto Sun talking about how a smut film was being made based on the novel American Psycho, which was found by the bedside table of Paul Bernardo. Because of this, they lost the location and had to build the entire set on a soundstage, which is what you see here. We now cut back to New York City. This was definitely one of the harder locations to find. It really took me a long time to match everything up because a lot of the buildings in the background have changed over the years. But the MetLife building in the background was the dead giveaway. Kind of hard to see because of that obstructing it right there, but you can make out the building here to the right that he's pretty much underneath where the fake phone booth was. See that MetLife building in the background? However, that can be seen from both sides, so it was really hard to determine which side it was, and with the lens they're using, how far away it actually was. We now head into one of my favorite locations from the film, Biffs Bar. It's an amazing restaurant on Front Street in Toronto. I highly recommend it. The food never disappoints, and the staff are awesome, especially to American Psycho fans. They seem to really embrace the film. Patrick walks in here and sits down at this table right in front of that door there. Prepare yourself for some world-class overacting. Oh yeah, that's good stuff. As you can see, it's no longer white, but it's been painted red. But pretty much looks exactly the same. Patrick sits there with the boys, and then he looks over to the bar, and he sees his attorney. He heads over to him to give him a full confession. However, he does not believe him. Was it really all in his head? Did he do these things? Well, that's for you, the viewer, to decide.
Cooperate while realizing foreign policy can't be run by committee. And I believe there's now the growing sense that we can accomplish more by cooperating. And in the end, this may be the eventual blessing in disguise to come out of the Iran-Contra mess.
How can he lie like that?
I need a scotch.
Judge Robert Boyd. When I named him to the U.S. Court of Appeals, the American Bar Association.
There are no more locations to find. All of the obstacles I've overcome, security guards I've dodged, and miles I have traveled to document one of my favorite films will be unappreciated by the casual viewer and quickly replicated, while I drive myself insane on utter completion. In fact, I want my passion to be inflicted on others. I want everyone to experience it for themselves. But I hope some new knowledge can be extracted by you from my telling. This episode has meant nothing.